the 100 Season 3, Episode 5, Hakeldama. Hopefully that's how you say that, because I have no idea. But this was a very interesting episode. I know with the last one, and I mentioned this in my last review, that I saw it on Hulu, so a ton of people, I read the comments, a lot of people were super pissed. I totally understood why, because idiocy is the only word that describes it. Probably beyond that, something higher than just idiocy, like Idiocracy, which is an actual film. If you've seen it, you know why I say that. But that, I think, is a great term, because this is probably, definitely, the stupidest plan anyone could have, to say this is an army that is sent here to help us. If they were going to attack us with 300 people, they would have attacked us. But because they're grounders, which I have a problem with, I being Pike, we're going to go out and just shoot them in their sleep. Which I still don't see how that worked. I mean, I know we got like the kind of play-by-play from Indra where she's like, oh, they took out our archers and the people couldn't get close. But I was like, I don't know. I feel like 0 wounds is still way, way too crazy for 300 people. And I think they only went with 10 or something, like some insanely stupid thing like that. That doesn't work. I don't care if you have guns. That ain't gonna happen. Like, you are not gonna see, especially in the middle of the night, you're not gonna see literally every single person that's coming right at you when it's 300 to 10. If my division is right, that's 30 to 1. So that's pretty crazy. And it just wouldn't work. But it does in this case. And of course, it's just dumb. It's Pike being an idiot. It's Pike thinking that for whatever reason, well, I understand the reason. I do know the reason, but it's not good enough. Despite his reasoning, it's not good enough that he attacked these people, and he thinks that this is an okay idea because they're the grounders, and when we landed, Farm Station was attacked, and we lost so many people because the Ice Nation was coming at us, and we continue to lose people, and we lost Mount Weather because of grounders in general. And it's such a generalization that is an issue, and he makes it a worse issue. You don't go into a situation and create war, because that's bad. That's how you die. That's how, even if you don't die, that's how you get a ton of other people to die, for sure. And they already started off. They kill off 300 people, or like 299 people, since Indra fortunately does survive. I had no idea she was even there. But we get that to happen, and then we have Bellamy, who's by his side and who's reverted back to season 1 as well, and it's not great. And I see, as far as Bellamy goes, honestly, I see where he's coming from way more than Pike, and that might not make a lot of sense, because Bellamy he should be the one who's more on, more conscious of it, because he has gone through all of that stuff, and Pike's basically been living in season 1 this entire time, and all the people that are with him have. But the people inside of Arcadia didn't, and yet they voted for him. So that still says something, because there were only like 36 people from Farm Station, if I remember right, something around that number, something very small compared to all of Arcadia, and yet Pike was still the winner based on his us versus them mentality. So that still says a lot. Like, it doesn't really mean too much when all those people did it. It kind of shows that Bellamy is almost in the same court, not even including the fact that he felt he lost all those people at Mount Weather because, he told them to stay there and all this other stuff. So I felt like I saw where he was coming from even more. Plus, it was, his girlfriend, so an even closer connection for sure. But like, both of them are being stupid right now, and Bellamy didn't change. He sees Clark in the end of this episode, and it did not matter. He handcuffs her. He's gonna take her to Pike. She has to, like, hit him with the staff and stuff. And I don't know what's gonna happen. My only idea is that somehow Pike is doomed. I don't think we're gonna lose Bellamy. I think Bellamy's okay, but Pike is gonna get killed off somehow, and I don't know if it's going to be from within. I feel like it'll have to be, but at the same time, if like I feel like Kane would be the one to do it, but if it was a bit of a twist, it would end up being Abby because she's the one who tries to make things work and doesn't, and plus she's like the doctor, so it's kind of like, just ethically speaking, doctors don't take lives, they, help lives keep going. So I don't know. I'm excited to see where that goes, but he is doomed. That's just not gonna work. He's not gonna stay in there forever. He's gonna die somehow, and I just don't know how it's gonna happen. I don't know if it'll be Grounders. I don't know if it'll be, Sky Crew, but someone's gonna kill him, and Bellamy's gonna be in this weird in between area. He might just end up getting locked up for a while, and then it's like, all right, come on back. But for now, they're both in some really crappy positions. Um, Pike goes even beyond what I thought he was going to do. Outside of the murder, they take all of the people who were in the medical area, and they're going to put them. They're going to be interned, which it's not an internment camp, so they're like actually torturing them or anything like that. They're prisoners of war, but they're still interned, and that's just insane. It's like these people are very sick, and they have a woman that stands up and can't really move, and Lincoln's like, she's too sick to move, and Pike's just like, can't waste the supplies, and of course, because he doesn't give a crap about the Grounders or anyone. Everything that happens, the guy, Lincoln goes to this woman because he wants to help her up, and the guy pulls the gun on him because he was pointing it straight at his head. Lincoln, takes that down and just destroyed that guy. And all he does, Pike just walks next to this woman. He has like the calmest look on his face, and he just has the gun, just like he just hands folded like it's nothing. It's just like, gun right up to her head. And it's just like, man, he does not give a crap, and he's clearly not thinking. So it's just crazy what he's doing. And then something that could come back to bite him, which I know is going to, is the fact that we actually get to see Jaha in this episode. And I was not expecting him to show up at Arcadia in this one. I figured once we saw them, it would still be their storyline. It was still going to be Jaha and Murphy, and they're of course split up a little bit, but it would be their storyline. I didn't think they would be interacting with anyone at Arcadia or anything like that. But we have personally, I think two amazing moments from both of them in this episode, because not only do we have Jaha getting to Arcadia and getting Raven by the end of this episode to take one of those chips, which really scared me. I knew she would, because she's been like just so broken down by what happened. I knew she would. And I'm like, I'm so scared of what's going to happen, because we haven't seen it from the very beginning. We've only seen people take it, like Otan in this episode, who unfortunately died. And I swear, I can't believe this is happening, but I still can't remember the girl's name. That's with Murphy. I remember her brother's name, mostly because he died and they said it a bunch in the beginning. But I still can't remember her name. But her brother gets killed in this episode, and we saw what happened the last time when he took the chip. That had to have only been like maybe an hour, and he was like totally different and stuff. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing a slower version of that, where we see exactly what happens to the people and what makes them change. But it's almost instantaneous. I mean, as soon as Raven took it, she of course stopped feeling pain in her leg, and I thought that was cool, but she didn't have like a happy expression. She was shocked. And then when, I believe Allie is the name of the AI, once she shows up in front of her, it's like, it's time to get back to work, Raven. She doesn't really have a different expression on her face or anything like that. And I'm like, this really freaks me out. I don't know what's happening. And that seems to be the big focus. It was in the promo, so it's at least half the episode or half the story of next week's episode, which I'm so excited to see, because now that Raven's taken it, and Allie kind of said this, like, if we get her, we'll get a bunch of other people to believe as well, and that seemingly that's what happens in the next episode. And Abby's kind of questioning, like, well, I'm just trying to see what's going on here, like some weird stuff's happening. But that was the amazing thing for Jaha, where Raven took it by the end of the episode, so I'm freaked out what's going to happen with her. And then on the other side of that, we have Murphy, who gets caught for being like, this thief basically. And then the chip drops out of the bag, and this guy says, like, hold on, he has the ancient symbol. And that blew my mind, because I'm like, alright, this little piece, it's like a tiny little chip with an infinity symbol, which is really cool. I think it was different when they first showed it. I thought it was just like an octagon, like, it looked like a stone octagon when they first showed it. But when they had it in this episode, it was like a clear blue piece and stuff. And I feel like it looked different in the other episodes. I could be wrong, because it was like this tiny thing. I wasn't really focused on what it looked like. But I thought for sure it was just like a stone. It looked like a little stone octagon before, and now it's just like this really fancy looking thing. But what somehow it's like this sacred symbol. We technically don't know what clan this is either. I'm sure it's not like Lexa's, clan or anything like that, because 300 of them are dead, and we technically don't know how big each clan is either. I would assume it's like a couple of thousand per clan, because they all have like their own little sections and stuff. But some clan, some tribe has a sacred symbol. It may or may not be sacred to every clan, and I guess we'll probably get that information in the next episode. But that blew my mind. I was so happy to see that though, because I was like, hold on, this isn't just some random thing. He said a sacred symbol. We're gonna get some very interesting information on Allie, possibly the history of exactly what happened, which we kind of got like the most minuscule amount in the premiere when they had Murphy in the locked in the room, and they were talking about, like, the two guys on the video were like, oh, it actually was her, so it wasn't China that set off the missiles, it was her. So we might get some information on the war a little bit, and why the symbol has become sacred to them, which is the City of Light symbol. So we might get to see some grounders who, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's like a more primitive version. If they have like old technology, it's like a different version, kind of like an older operating system or something, so they aren't involved with, like the backpack basically that Jaha has will be different from whatever older version they have. But I'm really excited for that. Both those moments were really great to me. One of which, it being Raven having taken the chip, that really does scare me, because so far, zero answers as to whether or not people can come back from this weird sort of zombie-like mode, because it's almost instantaneous. They didn't do a scene where, Allie showed up in front of her and she's like, who the heck are you? It was just like, that was the end of the episode. So I don't know what to expect, and I'm really freaked out, but I love both scenes. It was really awesome, and it does have me very excited. The Pike thing, of course, it's interesting because it did lead to a really great moment in this episode, which was Lexa having a super badass moment. As far as I was concerned, it was kind of devastating for Arcadia, but it was super badass to me, because it was like Indra gave her the message like, oh, Sky Crew rejects the Coalition and they reject the ability to be the 13th clan. She stood straight up and was like, get everybody, we're killing Arcadia. That was amazing. I was like, that is exactly what she should have said, and Clark should have had zero bearing on what she thought. I was like, that was a perfect moment for her character as far as I was concerned. I was like, that is a perfect moment for Lexa. It was straight up, okay, go tell everybody we're killing all these people, because they killed 300 people. It was an act of war, and that was just the perfect response. She didn't talk to Clark. She didn't say anything. There was no, they have their relationship or anything like that. It was like, no, your people rejected the Coalition. Your people voted for Pike, who's clearly a dick. And, they killed 300 of my people, so act of war, automatic. But that does change by the end of this episode, a complete 180, and I feel like Lexa might die because of that decision, because that is something that they've always had. Blood must have blood, and I know she's Lexa, she is the queen of queens, but they already had a whole coup in the last episode. Everyone voted outside of Clark for the vote of no confidence, and that's not a good sign. And then right after, we have this where blood must have blood, and they're not doing that. So I don't know if Lex is really going to be making it. That kind of freaked me out a little, and I went back to what I mentioned in my last review, where someone said like, "Oh, this actress is the girl from Fear the Walking Dead," and I was like, I don't think that has any bearing on it, because I would just assume that the filming takes place at different times. But it was like, I don't know. It could have a bearing. I don't know how Hollywood works. I don't know when people shoot different shows. So I was starting to freak out. Like, this could be an actress thing. This could just be how they're writing it in general. But it really freaked me out. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna just go over like some of the other decisions that she made. But it was kind of a scary moment. I was like, it's kind of awesome that she decided to do that, because of course they killed who was seemingly the main villain with the Ice Queen in the last episode, and then Pike is set up to be the big bad right now. But Lexa stopped the war, and so we still have Pike as an issue, but it's not like a full-on war again. So I love the way that they did it, and now it's kind of very wide open. Like, all right, there's no war happening anymore. We still have Pike as an issue, but now they've introduced this idea of Lexa kind of going back to the whole vote of no confidence thing. Lexa being pushed out by her own people, and in this case, it could be far, far worse. I mean, it's 300 people just brutally murdered. That's going to be an issue, despite how bonded the clans may or may not be, which we've clearly seen with Asgetta. They can be fairly separated. So I don't know if they will push too much for it, depending on who died from which clan, and I would assume it's from Lexa's specific clan, her people, but even her own people might have an issue with that, and revolt can happen. So who knows where things are going to be headed, but I certainly enjoyed what they introduced in this episode. Honestly, I just can't wait to see Pike get killed, because I just don't like the guy. I knew he'd be an issue. I said it from the very beginning. I was like, he's season 1 mentality. That's going to be a problem. And here it is. Like, he did it. They went out. Bellamy's back to being his old, season 1 self. And like I said, I felt like I saw where he was coming from more. And I think the reason why isn't only because of the Mount Weather stuff and him feeling like he failed all those people, but the speech he had with Clark was a very great speech, where it's like, we were doing all this crazy crap, and also what he said to Kane, where it's like, we were dealing with these people, killing my friends and stuff before you guys even touched ground. So I do see where he's coming from. It's still a stupid idea, because simply put, they were there to help. And that's just like the be all end all. That's what they were there to do. And they totally screwed up by going to kill 300 people that were meant to, help them in case of a war, which oddly enough got solved in the last episode, and of course they didn't know. But he had some great reasons, I guess. I mean, he had some great reasons to be angry. There was no good enough reason to go kill those 300 people, because it's like, it just doesn't make sense how you can just make it up in your own head. Like, they're sent here to help us. I say they're not. And that was pretty much that's exactly what happened, actually. That's what Pike basically said. It was like, they're here to help us in case we get attacked. And in Pike's brain, it was like, they are not. And then he went and killed a bunch of people. So, no good reason for that in general. But as far as where both Pike and Bellamy come from, I understand it to an extent, and with Bellamy I get it even more because he was there from the beginning. And I know I initially said like that's why it seemed like it makes less sense, but now that I think about it more, and specifically some of the stuff he said about the people that died, and how, especially during the speech with Clark, how they left them at Mount Weather, and that did force them to kill all those people, all those innocent people that they didn't really want to kill. It was only Dante and his son that were ultimately an issue in the end, and like the one security guard, the guy who's still left alive. But obviously they killed everyone, even children. So when he gave that speech, it was like, that makes like an even better reason. And Pike wasn't there for any of that. He was just bad, good, good, bad. So, the nuances that Bellamy has, it's kind of like two sides of the same coin. Like, for in one way, I feel like that's exactly why he shouldn't be so angry. And then on the other side of it, it's like, yeah, they did leave them, and they did attack them as soon as they landed. They didn't try to understand, like, where did these people from the sky come from? They did instantaneously go straight in for the kill. So there is a lot of stuff there. There's definitely a lot of stuff, but hopefully that changes soon. Bellamy and Pike, mostly Bellamy, because I know Pike is going to get outed and killed in some way, shape, or form. He's gone, so it's mostly about Bellamy switching fairly soon, but loved everything they introduced. I'm a little scared for Lexa. I don't even know what to think about this sacred symbol stuff with Murphy. I'm even more scared for Raven and whether or not they can save all these people, and if Abby's going to be able to help save them from whatever this weird mental stuff is with the City of Light, because obviously it's kind of like if you die, you go there and you live forever, but I just don't know what to expect. I'm really freaked out about it, but I do want to know what you guys thought about this episode, of course. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And there's a lot of different things. So I want to know, what do you guys think about Raven taking the chip? What in the world is going on with the chip, or the infinity symbol being an ancient symbol or sacred symbol? And of course, do you guys think Lexa is in trouble because of her decision of blood not needing to have blood any longer? Because that's just a tradition across all the clans, and she just changed it because everyone's her subject. That was an awesome moment when she said that too. I was like, that's super badass, but still scary. But I want to know what you guys think, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.